Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, the stock markets have actually managed to gain for 5 straight weeks and the Nifty is up 11% from the day of the Lok Sabha polls as well. In fact, this is the longest winning streak of the Nifty in 2024. Now, all of last week, we did see that the Nifty was dominated by two stocks, Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank. If one took the markets higher, the other ensured that the gains were kept in check. And the one theme that came to fore last week was the IT space, which will again be in focus because of the earnings that we will continue to see this week onwards. And as we move into a new week now, all eyes will also shift to the union budget as we finally know that it will now be presented on July 23rd. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The market takes a fresh stance on 8th of July, as Sakshi has pointed out. The date of the national election, the national budget is upon us, July 23rd. Between today and July 23rd, there are 10 sessions left. Remember, July 17th is a holiday, which is a Wednesday right in the middle of the week next week. But in these 10 sessions, a lot of things will be decided upon. The Nifty, as the data shows, 24,323, just flat on Friday. But as always, let us begin with this wonderful daily chart which you see on a regular basis. For the last 5 weeks in a row, each consecutive week, the Nifty has notched up gains, which is a total of 8% or 1793 points. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a very substantial figure and it needs to be digested. Therefore, if you watch this index very closely, over the last 8 out of 9 sessions, ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty has made a higher high and a higher low. It was just on Friday that it slipped to 24,200, but from then on, in the last half an hour, there was a massive set of buying. It went up to 24,323. So you can well imagine how clued people are there on the long side, and they're using every opportunity and every support level to get back on the Nifty. We'll also look at the Bank Nifty in a similar fashion. If, Sakshi, the rally of the Nifty is 5 weeks in a row, the surge on the Bank Nifty is 8 weeks in a row. On Monday, if you total these 8 weeks of consecutive gains, we are pulling in 5,230 points, all put together, an 11% rise. Now let's analyze these two markets in a bit of detail. As I have pointed out, you have the national budget on July 23 and you have 10 sessions left. Ahead of that, we have the quarterlies coming in from Thursday, which is TCS kicking it off from July 11th onwards. So therefore, two sets of very important events, quarterlies and of course the national budget. And in this duration, you see a massive rally happening in defense counters such as Mazgaon, Garden Reach and Cochin, including HAL, BDL, BEML as well. You have a massive upsurge in the railway set, which is RVNL, RITES, RailTel, IRCON, and of course the PSU banking set is ablaze as well with gains. So these are the sections and the segments of the market which are showing a lot of trader and investor interest. We've often talked about delivery statistics, where you see a lot of enthusiasm coming into budget focused sectors such as agri, such as fertilizers, and the three that I have mentioned earlier. Needless to say, they will remain in focus, and every dip which is towards 8 EMA, 9 EMA, 10 EMA will be purchased by aggressive or medium term traders and investors. As far as the Nifty is concerned, you need to buy the dip towards 24,200. Ditto on Bank Nifty. A very strong option support is there as far as the Nifty Bank and the Nifty is concerned at respectively 24,200 and of course at 52,500. So these are the two levels that I'll be watching out. Ladies and gentlemen, the interest is in cash stocks, where a lot of delivery based and speculative buying is resulting in huge double-digit gains into all PSU segments. You need to keep an eye out on that one. Today being Monday, there is the mid-cap select Nifty whose weekly expiry is in place, as also the BankX from the Bombay Stock Exchange. We'll pay a little more attention to the Nifty mid-cap select Nifty. The PCR will fire a long-term chart for the Nifty select index. Over the last 5 weeks, it has gained 1140 points. That's an uptick of 10%, ladies and gentlemen, and that also needs to be digested. Needless to say, it closed at a record high on Friday, and two stocks outperformed last week. Lupin and Aurobindo Pharma respectively up 9 and 7% in the weekly gains. As far as stocks to watch are concerned, Sakshi will give you more details, but there are two on my radar. Titan, suffering from higher gold prices, although it has shown a 9% rise in revenue as far as volume sales are concerned in the first quarter, but it has categorically said that higher gold prices have resulted in a low footfall, low buying power, and therefore you see this stock reacting negatively. The other is Bank of Baroda. Global business has grown 8%, deposits are up sharply, and of course credit growth is also substantial. So these are the two stocks that I am looking across the board. PSUs is where my bet is. Last time we met on Thursday, I had mentioned that insurance space would be buzzing, and you just need to look at NIACL where you've seen a strong move coming in. Sakshi, what are our foreign funds doing? And of course, what are the cues coming in from Wall Street?
Absolutely, Shail. So the Wall Street resumed trading on Friday after a day's holiday, and we did see that both the S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq, they managed to post yet another record close on Friday. So that was again a positive one. So we did see the Nasdaq zooming about 0.9%, the S&P 500 galloping about 0.5% in trade, and the Dow Jones also adding about 0.2% in trade. Now, of course, this is after the solid jobs data that we've received, and the US 10-year bond yield that eased to 4.3%. And among commodities, we also saw the gold futures bouncing back to $23.95 per ounce, while Brent crude oil futures remained firm around $86.5 a barrel as well. So that's as far as the US markets are concerned. Now, as far as the Asian markets are concerned, we're actually seeing a subdued trade in the early morning trading action across Asia. So Japan's Nikkei is just about flat, 0.1% higher. We've also seen that the Kospi is just down by about 0.1%. Hang Seng, in fact, is taking a beating early morning, 0.8% of a fall for that one, and 0.3% of a decline for the Shanghai index in the early morning trading session as well. Following this, the benchmark equity indices in India are also likely to see a hazy start for the day, especially because the GIFT Nifty is also indicating a flattish to a negative start in today's trading session around 24,380 odd levels. Now, as far as the foreign flows are concerned, remember the FIIs, they were net buyers in the cash segment. That is for the third day in a row as well. In fact, they purchased stocks worth about 1241 odd crore rupees on July 5. And on the other hand, the domestic institutional investors, they sold shares to the tune of 1651 odd crore rupees, marking this third straight day of net selling as well. Now, let's come to the key stocks that we will be watching out for. Remember, multiple stocks will be reacting to the business updates that have been coming in over Friday to Sunday. And so stocks like Titan, IndusInd Bank, Marico, Dabur, these will be in focus. And of course, TCS, which will begin its earnings from July 11, will of course keep an eye out on the entire IT pack as well. Let's start off with the key stocks that we should keep an eye out on. So IndusInd Bank advances growth of 16% from last year to about 3.48 lakh crore rupees. Deposits up 15% year on year to 3.98 lakh crore rupees. Titan, here the jewelry domestic operations have grown by nearly 8%. The overall growth of 9% on a year on year is what we've seen. High gold prices coupled with low wedding days has actually had an impact on the consumer demand, with overall sentiments being relatively muted for Titan, and brokerage houses have also cut target prices on Titan. So we'll come to that a little later. Marico from the FMCG space, again the business update shows that consolidated revenue grew in high single digits, and they also expected to continue trading upwards towards the rest of the year. Gross margins came in likely to expand on a year-on-year basis due to favorable portfolio mix. The domestic business posted a modest uptick in underlying volume growth on a sequential basis. For Dabur, the sequential improvement in demand trends are seen, with rural growth now finally picking up. They also expect improvement in acceleration in the coming months as well. They also expect consolidated revenue to grow in a mid to high single digit, while India business may see a mid to single digit volume growth going forward. Now, Bank of Baroda, here the domestic advances are up 8.5% from last year to 8.8 lakh crores. Domestic retail advances are up 20.8% to 2.22 lakh crores. Global advances are up 8.1% to 10.7 lakh crores. And the deposits domestically have seen an improvement of 5.2% at 11 lakh crores. For Adani Wilmar, again, there is a robust volume growth of 13%. This is propelled by market-specific strategies in each category aimed at gaining market share, especially in the under-indexed markets. Alternate channels have actually seen a 19% volume growth. Indian Bank, I'll keep an eye because the total business growth of 10.9% on a year-on-year basis has come in at 12.2 lakh crores. The total deposits are up 9.5%. Advances are up 12.7% to 5.4 lakh crores. From the real estate pack, keep an eye out on Signature Global. Here the pre-sales have grown 255% to 3,120 crores. Collections have risen 102% from last year to 1,210 crores. Even the net debt for the company has declined by 180 crores to now finally come at 980 crores. Realizations for the quarter have also increased to 15,369 rupees per square feet as well. From the new age internet space, Nykaa is something that we'll keep an eye out on. It expects the revenue growth to be around 22 to 23% in the first quarter. The gross merchandise value growth for the quarter is expected to be in mid-20s, and the beauty vertical revenue growth for the quarter is expected around 22-23%, similar to the consolidated entities' revenue growth as well. And Bandhan Bank is something that we'll keep an eye out on. Remember, Mr. Ratan Kumar Kesh, the current Executive Director and COO, has been appointed as the interim MD and CEO for the bank with respect to 10th of July onwards. So we'll just keep an eye because Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh is retiring on 9th July. So we'll keep an eye out on that, Shail.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is just the right time to introduce you to Mr. Vineet Bojlinkar, Head Research at Ventura Securities. Good morning to you, Vineet. We take a fresh stance towards the market as far as Dalal Street is concerned, and just 10 sessions between now and July 23rd when the national budget is presented. Strong rallies everywhere, especially in the mid-cap area where you hunt often. Now tell our viewers, how do you feel? What is the sentiment on Dalal Street? And where do you see these surges continuing?
So, we have seen a fantastic rally play out over the last many years. And, we may be nearing the culmination of one where we think that, we could see some kind of profit taking take place. Because, if you have seen the movement in the markets of the last few trading sessions, you'll find that, virtually a large number of stocks have been doubling in very short time. This provides for us to be a little bit cautious in the markets, and valuations are not very, very cheap, even if I may say. And although the growth story in India is very, very strong, okay, we believe that the political happenings that are taking place globally are not very conducive for a bull market, because we could expect some kind of money withdrawn from the country, or we could end up in some kind of a politically charged environment. So keeping these things in mind and going into the budget, my assumption is that this would be a good time to take a little bit profit selectively in all the bubble sectors, and wait and take a fresh view with the elections that are to be announced.
Okay. Right. Good morning to you, Vineet, and thank you so much for taking the time out. From now on until the budget, are there any key sectors that you would be looking to build up your positions in? Any key stocks that you will be looking at very, very keenly? Because we're just about 11 sessions away now. And what would be the ideal strategy for viewers and investors?
So, I believe that the strategy should be focused more around consumption theme. Number one for India, rural consumption should pick up quite nicely. We've got a very, very strong rainfall that is taking place. Uh, the outlook is also very strong. Second is we should be looking out for stocks in the pharma sector. There are many which are available at uh, good valuations, reasonable valuations with strong growth outlook. And possibly you can look at IT stocks only from a trading bet. My view on IT, as spelled out very clearly over the last many months, has been to be cautious, but there could be some trading gains to be made given the fact that there's a lot of sector rotation happening.
Okay, got that. Well, Vineet, the other thing that I wanted to discuss is the kind of business updates that we've started to get across the board from banking and the finance space, especially with the kind of growth in advances deposits that most of the banks have been displaying. And again, in today's trade, we have a lot of updates from IndusInd Bank, we have Bank of Baroda, and of course, Bandhan Bank is in focus because of its own news flow too. How are you really looking at the entire gamut of banking space, especially led from HDFC Bank, the way it reacted last week, and now carrying on to all these business updates that are coming in?
So, I believe that Fed Bank did one of a splendid job having QQ as well as YOY growth. Whereas the other banks are really struggling for, deposit mobilization. If you see Bajaj Finance has cut its highest lending rate by about 20 bips in the bulk segment. So there is a mixed trend out here. And I think one of the real beneficiaries out here could be SBI because, although even if they don't grow their CASA too much, they have got very, very high surplus SLR liquidity, which they can propel into lending. So I believe that, if one were to sustain the lending momentum without too much of, NIM compression among the large boys, I think SBI is one of the players that could manage to do the same.
Uh, Vineet, let's look at the sect which is just really not looking at gravity and refuses to sort of come back down. I'm talking about the defense counters where you've been extremely bullish, and of late the rally that has begun in railway stocks. Of course, this is the pre-budget momentum which everybody understands. But even within this space, where do you think real value lies? A couple of stocks that if you can name, and where you think that we should stay away and perhaps wait for sensible levels to come back in before climbing back into the momentum train.
So, if one were to break up the, defense space into consumables and ancillaries, along with the big boys who manufacture the large equipment, I believe that BEL, BHAL, which has got proxy with other sectors, NIBE Limited, uh, Zen Technologies, Premium Explosives, and to a large extent, Solar Industries are some of the stocks that could definitely gain from the segment. In my opinion, HAL also has a lot of value, but HAL is very expensive. Short term, there could be a slight correction. Uh, in my opinion, uh, the other stock, Masgon, Cochin, and BDL are, I think they've run up too far too fast. And to my mind, they're not, while they're in a momentum bubble, they're not exactly, uh, you know, valuations that would want me to step in and get my fees wet at this point in time.
Mr. Bullichkar, you were talking about consumption theme as coming back into fore right ahead of the budget, and one of the poster boys of consumption theme has also been this jewelry maker, jewelry to eyewear maker Titan. And after the business updates, we have actually seen a slew of brokerage houses now downgrading Titan as well, post the Q1 update. So JP Morgan has downgraded Titan, and it believes that they are concerned about moderating growth for the studded jewelry. There is intensifying promotional activity, so which is margin negative, they believe. Even Macquarie has acknowledged that weak Q1 jewelry commentary will likely weigh on the near-term performance of Titan. How would you really look at this stock after these downgrades?
So, see, Titan is a very richly valued stock, number one. Number two, secondly, the space is pretty big. They can continue to grow. So, when you have the ability and the market with you, with the brand strength also being there, when your growth numbers kind of tether, you want to be a little bit kind of on the caution side. If you look at the other jewelry stocks, Senko Gold, uh, I think Senko Gold is one stock which has potential because they are expanding their jewelry business quite nicely. They're planning to put up a large number of stores, and that will provide them with the headline number going ahead. And they're very confident of getting double-digit top-line growth uh, going ahead. So this is one stock we like. The other stock, which I would have spoken to you a few months ago is Sky Gold. So Sky Gold is a small cap stock or a SME kind of story, which has actually seen 7x growth because they are direct beneficiaries or as a supply to these jewelry chains. And this is one of the largest suppliers. Uh, they used to do around 1,500 crores of business. Today, their headline number is over 6,500 to be done in the next couple of years. They've got not very fancy margins, 4%, but their OPEX is very limited. Extremely low OPEX kind of business with a very high turnover, and hence your below the line expansion and profitability is immense. So I believe Sky Gold is a counter to watch out, which can move further up from here. And Kalyan has already expanded its network, and while it has done that, they've booked initial inventory sales because they're replenishing these stores, and so you get a one-time bump in earnings. But I think it is going to be a drag going ahead. So this is some of the scenario that the jewelry and the segment looks like to me.
Okay. And within the FMCG space stocks, where are you keeping an eye out on after a slew of updates coming in from Marico, Dabur? Where would you keep your attention?
I think Marico, Tata Beverages, and Jyoti look good. I also like the other consumption story, which are the platform stocks, which is Zomato. So these are some of the plays that we are looking at.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the cusp of a pre-open. Monday starts with a quiet view coming in from at least the gift nifty, but the underlying enthusiasm and the bullish momentum that we are seeing across the board on a lot of budget related themes continues to buzz with gains. A bit of a step back on the nifty, 27 points lower. Let's look at the stocks that are contributing to this downtick. HDFC Bank continues to be a thorn on the side of the Nifty. 1610 for you, 38 rupees lower. I'm sure this will improve dramatically. How about Reliance? 8.75 rupees higher, 3186. This is something to be looked at from a positive point of view. And Infosys, flat so far, 1647. Earnings boy TCS this week, 4011, flat again, nothing as of now. What's buzzing with gains? Tata Motors, 1% higher, now consolidating above the 4-digit mark, 1004. Lever is in good shape, 17 rupees higher, 2564, and ITC a rupee 35 higher at 435. This is how the index heavyweights are poised. Now the Nifty is just down 11. Let's shift focus to a lot of interesting stocks in the Nifty 500 space. You have quasi-defense stocks, Swan Energy, 5% higher, 692. Updates coming in from Signature Global, which is a Gurgaon-based realty company. Very strong volume sales coming in, 4.8% higher, 1571. A strong move on NLC India, 3% higher, 270. Elecon Engineering, 4% higher, 1440. We'll do a very quick downtick into the FNO space. Pharma it is. Laurus Labs, 2.7% higher, 490. You have a strong move coming into Indraprasth Gas. Let's look at the most active space. Disappointment written large on HDFC Bank, 1.5% lower, 1623, but still it's substantially higher from the opening quotes. Remember, the overseas ADR on the American markets closed 7% lower. We are sort of getting that difference squeezed up. 5 is already taken, and now 1.5%, 2% down is what is coming in. Strength in GNFC, strength in Dabur, and of course BEL, which is the current defense favorite, 1.3% higher, 328. I believe Vaishali has joined us. Good morning to you, Vaishali, and a very warm welcome. VP Technical Research and Analysis at Prabhudas Leeladhar, as also our Lady Luck. Where do you think is momentum based as far as stock futures and individual cash counters are concerned, Vaishali? What is looking good on charts?
Very good morning to all of you. Yes, market is showing a lot of strength, and well, in cash counter we are looking at NBCC, we are looking at IRDA. These are the stocks which are looking quite promising. Even NHPC has just begun its momentum, so I would be focusing more on these stocks. And as far as frontline is concerned, ONGC is worth having a look at, and also Reliance above 3200. I think we had discussed this. 3200 technically acts as a resistance. Above 3200, we should see good momentum coming in.
You, Vaishali, but you know what we've been discussing all across this morning is that all eyes are now on the budget. We finally have a date, July 23rd. Just about 10-11 sessions remaining. Which stocks do you think will outperform up until the budget? Are you keeping a list now which should be added on in this last week run up to the budget?
So yes, I mean, as we have been talking about, defense is the flavor of the year rather. And also along with that, we have the rail stocks. So yes, these are the sectors which are still showing a lot of strength. And besides this, we are also focusing on fertilizers and chemicals now. So yes, we have chosen quite a few stocks. As I mentioned, NBCC, NHPC, IREDA, because power also is quite a important sector to look at. So yes, these are the stocks that we would be looking at from here on.
Okay, let's get Vineet into the conversation. And one segment, Vineet, which has not participated in the market, extremely high beta, is the Adani Group. If you subtract Ambuja from it, just nothing. In fact, Adani Enterprises and Adani Ports have not even climbed above their June 4th highs, which again points to relative underperformance across the broader market and of course Nifty. So what do you think is holding back Adani Ports and Adani Enterprises? Are these levels that look attractive to you?
So Adani Enterprises definitely looks attractive at current levels. However, I've been speaking to a lot of investors in the markets, and whenever you mention Adani stocks to them, they are like, we will take a break away from these stocks. Tell us anything other than Adani stock. So the sentiment still out on the streets is that, at these valuations, we would just like to stay away for a bit. And I guess that the news flow that is there around these stocks during the elections has kept people very around Adani because of the extreme negative sentiment created by some of the lobby players in the markets.
Fair point. So within the 2 or within the 10 that are listed from the Adani space, why don't you pick up 1 or 2 which you think have value at current levels and people can do a sip?
So I think Adani Enterprises, look at Adani Green and Adani Transmission. I think a theme which is, green hydrogen, green energy and transmission looks very, very good to me from a long-term perspective.
Okay, got that. Also, on Adani Wilmar, will you have a view, Vineet? Because robust volume growth of 13% has been reported in the business update. How should one view this one?
So that is very encouraging news coming from Adani Wilmar. But still the stock looks a little expensive. So still not going all out and hammer and tongs with the buy call.
Got that. So that's about the Adani Group stocks. The other space that I wanted to discuss is the auto space, and within that Bajaj Auto clearly, because Jefferies has raised targets for Bajaj Auto after the Freedom CNG bike launch. Now they have pegged the target at 11,640 for Bajaj Auto. The stock is opening just about 0.04% higher, so flattish momentum with a positive bias. 96.40 is the current level at which we see Bajaj Auto. So first we need you on the fundamentals, and then we can ask Vaishali on the technicals for Bajaj Auto. How should one look at it? We need yours first.
So definitely a game changer move with the CNG bike launch. It will, segregate. Bajaj Auto can make further inroads into the lower category bikes of, between 100 to 125 cc. Especially given the fact that gas is very cheap. However, we need to see the performance of the bike vis-a-vis the petrol versions. Once acceptability of the product is out, then we can go in with a buy call. Else, Bajaj Auto has done extremely well despite having challenges in Africa and the export markets. They have really calibrated their domestic portfolio extremely well, strong comeback, and we expect this trend to sustain.
Okay, Vaishali, how would you look at Bajaj Auto today?
Let's get Vaishali into the conversation.
Doing a good trend. So 9300 acts as the crucial support, and in all likelihood this can retest the previous high of 9800 levels, and perhaps it can go even towards 10,200. So 98 to 10,000 would be the target that one can look for. 93 acts as a stop.
Sakshi, I think there is a downgrade on Bajaj Auto as well. One of the brokers has given a slightly odd number, I think less than 6,000 rupees on Bajaj Auto. Let me source that out for you. But let's look at sectors, Vaishali, where you think money will pour in. We've seen sharp rallies on everything associated with the government, but metals are quiet. I'm talking about NALCO, I'm talking about NMDC, Hind Copper. Where do you think lies the potential of momentum getting rekindled?
I would say Nalco still shows a lot of strength actually. So that is one stock that I would be still bullish on, because if you see chartically also, it has been gaining momentum last full week. So I think this stock is ready for a takeoff, and we can see a target of 210 to 220. As far as Steel Authority is concerned, I think, well, this has been in the lull for quite some time. So again, good level to accumulate. Further conviction comes above 160 levels. If we see that the stock is ready for a takeoff going towards 180. But well, I would surely focus on Steel Authority from here.
Okay, pre-open is settled. Nifty mildly in the green, 5 points higher. It's the Bank Nifty that's bleeding. 127 points lower is where it's likely to start. And HDFC Bank down 23 rupees, Axis Bank down almost 14, ICICI Bank down almost 6. Nothing much to talk about on SBI and Kotak. So this is how the market is structured at the moment. Surprisingly, Infosys is quiet at 1647, and TCS, earnings boy on Thursday, is 11 rupees higher at 2022. 4022. Vaishali, this comes to you. Mid-cap IT on the roll, record highs on KPIT, and fresh 52-week moves coming on emphasis. Coforge also showing strength, as also counters like Oracle Finance. Where do you think lies momentum as far as charts are concerned, and where would you buy the pain?
Well, so I would still focus on Wipro, Birlasoft. These are the stocks which I have been constantly tracking. So these stocks are to my liking. As far as the cash category is concerned, well, KPIT still continues to show a lot of strength. We see that there is a possibility of this stock going towards 1800 and higher. So, fair values yet to participate, I would say Tech Mahindra and HCL Technology. So these are the stocks that I would be looking at from here on, because seeing the past data and all, I think still there is a lot of upside scope in these stocks.
For that. So we'll keep an eye out on that too. The PSU stocks also seem to be opening up into the green with BEL, Power Finance, NHPC that Vaishali highlighted, Hindustan Aeronautics, all of them again looking at a positive start in trade today. Viniji, within the PSU stocks pack, where would you keep your focus? We've discussed defense with you. How about the power space, railways? Is that also continuing to catch your attention?
See, power stock is in a bull market of its own. It's one sector which has got such demand trends that, it is going to defy gravity for a long time. And the best way to play this is through the PFC, REC routes, which are very, very cheap stocks compared to the entire universe of, power stocks. You still have got decent dividend yields out there. And these two stocks, to my mind, jump out as favorites. We also like Skipper. So Skipper is in the ENP space. We recently, initiated coverage on that, and we have a target of at least a 60 to 70% upside from current levels.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out on Skipper right now at 391 odd levels, and Viniji has a 60 to 70% bullish upside target on Skipper Limited. They've initiated coverage with a strong upside potential that they see on this one. Power space, Vaishali, for you, which one will you keep an eye out on?
So, well, Skipper is one stock which we have also been recommending, and it has already got into momentum. So I would say that yes, it is showing a lot of strength. It's on the, it's ready for a daily chart breakout above 402. So I think if it sustains with good volume, we can see further upside potential coming in this as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at 9:14, and a very quick one coming to you, Vaishali. Where would you press a buy trade on HDFC Bank? This is something that has how should I say, the movement and the momentum deceived a lot of retailers. Where do you think is a sensible buy point, even if it is 100 rupees lower?
I would say 1580 should act as a very good support. 1580 is the level that one can look into, and I would buying again from those levels.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's avoid HDFC Bank as a trading punt and look at it from the point of view of adding it to their portfolio over the longer term. So 1580 is where she finds value. A flat opening on the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is down 175 points. There's a green tick both on the Nifty 500, which is the broader index, and of course the Nifty IT index taking it away 50 points higher, 37,781. Let's very quickly look at the stocks that matter the most. Okay, HDFC Bank, another 10 rupees lower, 1637. How about Reliance? 530, 5 rupees 30 higher at 3183. How about Infosys? Down 3 rupees 50, 1643. How about TCS? Now that is an interesting stock to look at. 6 rupees higher, 4016. ITC in the green, 434.3. And of course Hindustan Unilever, 24 higher at 2571. Very quick look at what the top traded counters are. RVNL 8% higher, 530. IRFC 5% higher, 198. IRCON 3.5% higher, 313. Titan This is news led, muted if not negative market update coming on business in the first quarter. 3.3% lower, 3158. Strong move on Cochin Shipyard, 3% higher. BEML up 3%. Very quickly, we look at the top losers also. You have Titan that we've discussed. Shriram Finance, nothing to be worried about. ICICI Bank 1.9% lower, nothing to be worried about. This is just par for the course. FNO, let's look at the most active counters. Anything of interest? Marico 3.8% higher, 639.50. This is interesting. ONGC 1% higher, RECL 1% higher, IOC 1% higher. Nifty is now in the negative, 23 points lower, 24,300 for you. Remember, a very strong support exists at 24,250, 24,200, which should be bought into ideally. Top gainers in FNO, Marico 4% higher, 639. Tata Motors 1.5% higher, 1009. Naukri 1.1% higher. Very quickly back into NSE 500, and the top gainers are the ones that we've already discussed, except for Metro Brands, 8% higher, 1320. Let's get Vaishali into the conversation. Vaishali, very quickly, what would be your first step into the market? Main indices are in the red, but cash is king.
Yes, so in the front line, I would look at ONGC. That looks good to me, and I think we can look for a target of 305, 310, and 285 would be my stop loss. And as far as the cash counter is concerned, I am looking at Paytm. Actually, if you see, that's got into a momentum, and right now it is 444, and it's ready for a breakout. So I would say that yes, this can go towards 455, 460.
Got that. Well, Vaishali, how about the railway space? A lot of action unfolding. RVNL, big block deals, about 34.5 lakh shares traded, 181 odd crore rupees worth. The stock is shot up 9.5% higher, yes, 9.6% higher now, 538. Even IRCON, IRFC, I think there is a large trade of the value of 184 odd crore rupees that's taken place. IRCON International itself is up by about 4.5 odd percent. The railway space is zooming ahead in the early minutes. Where would you keep your focus?
So, well, I do like IRFC even now. Then there is Jupiter Wagon and Texrail. So these are the stocks which I am focusing on, and I do like these too. I continue to stay bullish. So I would say continue holding all these stocks with a trailing stop loss.
Okay. Vinitji, your top favorite stocks within the railway pack, despite the recent run-up, where would you continue to have bullish calls?
I think IRCON, RVNL look good, but very, very tight stop losses. Ride the momentum with good, emphasize on stop losses.
Okay, got that. How about Tata Motors? Let's look at the auto stock that's taking it away. 1.5% higher, now moved to the top spot on the Nifty. How would you really look at this, Vaishali? Auto counter Tata Motors now?
Has been consolidating, nothing really significant happening. But technically, if we see the stock sustaining above 1010, 1015, then I think we would be looking at a target of 1050.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a digit change on Cochin Shipyard today. 2966, 4.5% higher. I do not have the professional, how should I say, outlook to take a technical view on it. All that we can say, or at least I can say, is that if you have Cochin Shipyard in your portfolio, please do not sell it. The momentum is very strong. And if you wish to sell, then look at the previous week's low or the average traded price and keep that as the stop loss. A very, very strong momentum here. Now 2978. A strong move coming in on Mazgaon, 2% higher, 5805. Stocks that have hit record highs. RVNL, IRCON, both discussed by Sakshi, Vinitji and Varsha. RailTel is also at a record high, and of course strong moves coming into Thermax, BEL, HAL, Aurobindo Pharma as well. Coming to you, Vineet, Any value that you see to be had in the pharma space? Strong moves last week on both Aurobindo and Lupin, but these are high beta stocks. Where do you think lies value?
I think Indoco Remedies we have initiated recently on that stock is one of the better growth stories with very, very decent valuations. We think that this stock can easily cross 700 levels in the next 24 to 30 months. So, great story playing out there. There's a recovery in momentum, recovery in margins is anticipated. And the company spent almost 400 crores over the last 2 years in capex and further looking to spend 200 to 250 crores in the couple of next years ahead. So, that stock looks very good.
Okay. Got that. Well, there's a very strong momentum in the real estate space as well. I think Anant Raj Industries is also doing very well in trade right now. There are several other stocks also within the broader markets that are taking it away. Swan Energy is something that has shot up in trade about 6% higher. You have Nava Limited, that's again up about 6% odd. HBL Power is up about 6% too in trade. Man Industries is something that is zooming ahead as well. A lot of action within the small cap basket that one can really look at. Vaishali, where would you keep your focus within the broader markets? All of these stocks taking it away?
Oh, yes. So, I mean, all of them have opened so strong, but HBL Power also looks very good. So, I would say HBL Power, one can look for a further target of 620 to 630. And most of them are doing very well. Swan Energy also has opened strong with a gap up. So, too late to get into the trade, but if one gets a chance to buy near 650, I think that would be an ideal level to get it.
Okay, got that. So that will be the ideal level to get in. Within the small cap basket, let me read out some names for you. GE Shipping, along with Cochin that Shail mentioned, is something that's been zooming 8.8% higher, now 9% higher. It's a very strong move on that one. First Source Solutions is up by 5.2% higher in trade. NBCC, as was highlighted by Vaishali earlier, is now 3% up. Raymond is continuing with its last week's move. It's up about 3.5% now. Hoodco is up by 2.5%. You have power maker CESC also about 2.5% higher in trade. Within the railways, what's added into the list is now even RITES, 3% higher. NLC India is also up. Data Patterns, Affle India, these are all the stocks that are buzzing very, very strongly in trade. Let's get Vineet ji into the conversation. First on Raymond, because this is something that we've discussed with you, Vineet ji, much before as well. And now the developments coming into fore with demergers in the offing of the real estate business. The stock has been zooming ahead amidst that news flow. 3.2% higher even now. What will you do?
Happy to see that the demerger has been announced, and we believe that between the two, the Raymond's clothing story and the Raymond's realty story, definitely realty offers a lot of promise going ahead. They've got a significant land bank, so I continue to hold this and play the demerger story. Exit Raymond's and hold on to the Raymond's realty once it gets listed.
Okay.
Okay, fair point. Sakshi, there is a digit change in IRFC. Now above 200, 202 to be precise. So that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting a little giddy in the market, and this is slightly edgy trade in the first 10-15 minutes of the market. The Nifty back in the green, 3 points higher. It's tested 24,300 so far, as also the Nifty Bank 52,650 for you. I just like to mark the intraday low, which is 52,300, so to speak. So keep an eye out on both the option calls which are at the money. Across the market, there is an odd kind of a trend. You have Nifty CPSE index as the top gainer, 0.5% higher, 1441. But what's really happening is that in the broader market, the declines are coming up very sharply. When we started somewhere like 915, there were just 400 declines, and now the declines are actually above 1000. So one needs to be very, very careful as to what is happening on the long side in the broader markets. It seems that apart from shipping, defense, and railways, markets seem to be undergoing a bout of profit booking. Let's look at the NSE 500 advanced decline number. Okay, now this is where the story lies. 226 stocks in the green compared with 272 in the red. So the market on the broader space is on the back foot. As far as advanced decline in the broader markets are concerned, 1087 in the green, 1005 in the red. But what's buzzing? It's PCBL, erstwhile Philips Carbon Black. Vaishali, I'm coming to you. A very, very strong set of block deals, 1.95 crores and 3.58 crores in a flash of a second. What do you think is happening on PCBL?
I think yes, the stock is showing a lot of strength right now. It needs to cross 278 decisively, 278 to 80. Once we see that it's coming out of the consolidation and one can look for higher targets, 330 levels could be a possibility. So I think this is a good buying opportunity.
Okay. Right. Well, apart from this, a whole host of other stocks within the oil and gas that are continuing to buzz. Of course, Vaishali, you pointed out ONGC. Now it's up by about 1.5% odd. We'll also keep an eye out on some of the other stocks that are taking it away. Oil India is now 1.3% higher. Castrol, HPCL, GAIL is up. Gujarat State, Petronet, all of these stocks are buzzing. But what about stocks within the gas space, Vaishali? There was momentum in the last week odd. So Mahanagar Gas, Gujarat Gas, GAIL, these were the stocks that were coming in limelight. Do they have the strength to continue the momentum going forward as well?
I think so, because when I'm seeing IGL to start with, well, it is already in a trend. There is a brief consolidation. So if 510 level continues to act as a support, I think this is ready for a new round of momentum, and it can go towards 550 levels too. So similarly, I think it's a similar setup even in MGL. MGL also is showing a lot of strength and same pattern. So I would say on a near-term basis, 1620 should act as a support. So yes,
Okay.
the trend is very intact.
Okay, and it is REC that's taking it away now, almost 3% higher in trade. PFC is about 1.5%, but REC has quickly climbed the ladder to be among the top movers within the FNO space as well as in the cash segment as well. In the FNO space, it's up by about 2.6%. In the cash segment, it's up by 2.9% odd. Between REC and PFC, Vineet ji, where would you be more bullish on?
I think they're just they're father and son, so difficult to choose between them, but both make a lot of sense. You should have equal weightage of both stocks. They will move in fits and bouts as far as the buying. So recommending both these stocks as a pack.
Okay, got that. So that's the move coming in. Marico is doing very well within the FMCG bag, about 3.5% higher. Dabur is also doing well in the FNO space. It's about 2% up. You have Tata Motors. You also have BEL now climbing up within the FNO movers as well. But let's again look at what else could be tracked at this point in time. Of course, apart from the shipping makers that we've discussed, railway space that we have discussed, Hudco is something that's now climbing. Let's discuss 4.5% higher now. Hudco, Vaishali, where do you see the stock heading?
So this has just moved one way. I think quite in an overbought zone, but I think one can be cautiously positive even now because it's positive. Just one way move we have seen. So I think the aim for 360 as the next target, but continue holding, having a trailing stop loss.
Right. Let's get Vineet into the conversation. You mentioned the father and son being PFC and REC. I'd just like to ask Vineet, who's the Holy Ghost?
I think Irida is the Holy Ghost. So he's been just slithering away having defying gravity completely.
Okay, so Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost is right there as far as terminology is concerned from Vineet. Vineet bhai, this is getting a bit too much, on the railway side as well. We've seen this momentum creeping into, uh, you know, the defense space about a month earlier. Regular 10% 20% circuits. In fact, Sakshi and I had a running competition that which stock would be up 10% amongst the top 5 PSU defense makers, and more or less we got it right. Now it's do you think deep down you feel this is overstretched, or are we just supposed to enjoy this wonderful party going on the Lal Street? Any point of turning into a cautionary tale, or ye ab teji hai hi?
So, I have always been maintaining, off fairly recently that defense valuations have gone into the stratosphere. Railway, we've been talking to a lot of players and they've been telling us that there is not much new order wins that are coming through. So this railway, if you don't get some very, very big bang, allocations like we got last time for railways, then, you could see that this trend could turn sour. That's why I told you have very light, tight stop losses. And this trend is good for a few days, until actually the budget is announced. So very, very good time for investors to, take some profit off the table and, review these bubbles once the budget announcements are through. Because anticipation is already built in. And, if the uh, delivery of the budget does not meet the anticipations, people may have a, sour taste in the mouth after the budget.
Yes, and this, ladies and gentlemen, needs to be, sort of met with a bit of, how should I say, caution. I remember reading a beautiful book some 20 years ago. It was titled also wonderfully "The Ups and Downs in the Life of a Fund Manager," and he mentioned a wonderful quote. He said, "If the stock is up 20% or down 20%, and it's in your portfolio, you can't be keeping quiet. Either you average it a bit lower or you book partial profit." And this is probably an opportunity to lighten up marginally on these railway stocks, on these defense stocks. Look at RVNL, 556. It's almost a blowout. These are the terms that we've read in books, in technical books, and often seen in charts which are US in origin, but in our own markets now these are happening. Cochin Shipyard, RVNL. Vaishali, would you stick your neck out? I am almost afraid to even ask you.
Well, as I said that yes, I mean it looks that it's overstretched. As I maintain that all are in deep overbought zone. So I would say no harm booking partial profit and otherwise continue holding with a strict stop loss.
Yes, that's the story of Railways pack. All these stocks are buzzing 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11% higher. Now RBN is up 11.5%, IRFC 9% higher, 6% up for Texmaco Rail, IRCON up 7%, IRFC up 8.5%, all across the board. It's a very, very strong surge, and we will continue to keep an eye out on the railway pack. What else is picking up pace is the IT space now. Within that, Wipro is now up 1%. Tech Mahindra is up 0.7%. You also have Infosys that's climbing higher, LTI Mindtree. So HCL Technologies, these are all the stocks that are now starting to buzz as well. Vineet ji, IT space right ahead of the earnings. How would you really look at it? Which are your top stocks that you'll be betting big on right ahead of the earnings?
So Persistent is a very strong buy. We look at Oren Pro doing really great guns. So these stocks are, conviction bets. Rest of the IT stocks, just, we'll be trying to get business updates before, mentioning any kind of view on them.
Okay, fair enough. We'll ask Vaishali on these momentum stocks within the IT space. Wipro, Tech Mahindra, how are you looking at these stocks? I think about some weeks before, these were the stocks that most of the technical analysts were focusing on. Are they carrying on with the same momentum and strength? Do you have other favorites now that will take a better spot now?
So I would start with Wipro because technically, if you look at it, it's ready for a breakout above 545, 550 levels if it sustains because it has shown a very strong trend. And right now, also, we are seeing that there is some buying happening over here. So if this sustains above 550 levels, we are looking at 620 target. So that is how I'm looking at Wipro. And besides that, I think HCL Tech. Also is quite at a good level to start accumulating because, well, we see the stock which has fallen right from the high of 1674 is currently at 1520, getting into a trend. So I think this is also positive in my view.
9:37, ladies and gentlemen, we have a market which is correcting marginally on the broader side, and we have a market which is beyond super bullish. So the super bullish market is in the entire PSU pack, ladies and gentlemen. 15% higher on RVNL, 565. Needless to say, this is a record high. At 99.37, we've had 15 plus 7, 22 minutes of trade. The volume on RVNL is 2300 crores. The volume on RFC, IRFC is 1600 crores. I repeat, you have to be excessively cautious on these stocks on the long side. A strong move coming into BEL, 2.7% higher, 334. I think this will be a record high. And of course, HUDCO, NBCC, HAL, NHPC, GRSE, REL. These are not only stocks amongst the top gainers, but these are also the stocks which are amongst the top movers in terms of volume. Very strong action coming into the entire PSU space ahead of the budget. Apart from the ones that we normally mark, let me also mention those that are also on the upside. ITDC 918, 5.6% higher. IREDA 5.4% higher, 239. Let's look at stocks that are slipping. Bank of Baroda. Now this is a surprise indeed. 2.7% lower, 266.25. Vaishali, what are the charts of Bank of Baroda telling you? This is coming despite very strong tailwinds in the first quarter of business, which Bank of Baroda informed shareholders.
So Bank of Baroda right now is at a make or break level. So if we break today's low, that is around 260 levels, I think this could get into a corrective move. Till then, I would say just hold on. We can see a bounce coming.
Okay, got that. Well, Vaishali, we'll also keep an eye out on Nestle now. The stock is flat with a negative bias, but the company has announced a 2.7 rupees per share interim dividend that has been announced by the company. So we will keep an eye out on Nestle as well. Would you have a comment to make, Vaishali, on Nestle? It's been sideways and no action seen from the time it really got into split and beyond that.
In fact, I think whole of FMCG counter should now start participating. And Nestle, we have seen that, well, the stock has really not done anything. It's just in a consolidation. Only positive thing that I can look at is right now, it is above a cluster of moving average. So the support is very strong at these levels. And I would say gradually this stock can go towards 2800 to 29. So yes, Nestle is a stock which is at fair value. And along with that, I do like Tata Consumer also.
Okay, so that's the FMCG space. But let's also pull up again from the defense pack, Bharat Electronics. That's moved to the top spot within the PSU index as a stock that's now moving about 2.7% higher in trade. How about BEL? What would you really say here?
I think BEL also continues to show a lot of strength. So I would say continue holding this because this can go towards 350. If we see the longer term chart, I think we have projections of 350, 380. So one should continue holding with a trailing stop loss.
Okay.
9:41, ladies and gentlemen, we have a strong momentum coming into railways. Let's look at, apart from them, the PSU stocks, which are the ones in momentum within this pack. Texrail, the maker of wagons, 289, 6% higher. How about JWL? This is flat, 726, half a percent lower. How about Titagarh? 1.4% higher, 1856. So 2 out of 3 wagon makers in the green, led by Texrail, which is actually playing catch up with Titagarh and JWL in terms of 1 year performance. What is also buzzing, Timken, bearing maker, 2.7% higher, 4452. So this is what is happening in the PSU space as far as the railways is concerned. 1056 on Container Corporation, flat. How about IRCTC? We haven't checked that for a while. IRCTC is again 1% higher, 1038. This is what's happening in railways. How about auto ancillaries? We haven't checked them for a while. Strong move on Lumax Industries. Ucal Fuel, 1.8%, 2.5% higher, 182. A strong move on Ask Auto Limited, 1.5% higher, 398. A strong move on Auto Axles, 2164, 1.7% higher. What's slipping in trade as far as the FNO is concerned? We need to keep an eye out on this one, because 50 points lower on the Nifty, and the top loser within the FNO space, ladies and gentlemen, is Titan. 4% lower, 3140. Vaishali, coming to you. What are the charts of Titan telling you? This is coming into a juicy zone as far as prices are concerned, and as far as long term shareholders are looking at it. So a low since 5th June. Okay, this is the voting day number. Vaishali, what are the charts of Titan telling you? Down for the 5th day in a row.
Well, of course, it's showing weakness, but seeing the weekly chart and all, I think 3000 should act as a support, but I'll wait and watch, not in a hurry.
Yes, so 3000 is a buy zone, and okay, now this is very, very interesting. On the weekly charts, ladies and gentlemen, Titan is approaching its 3081 is okay, okay, a 100-week level. A 100-week moving average is 3081, and the last time it got tested, it was 27th of June 2022. So this is an interesting level, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out on Titan. You just might see a nice bounce coming in from 3050, 3000 levels, which Vaishali says is a good buy zone. The all-time high on Titan is 3871, which you saw somewhere in 29th of June 2024. So for those who've been waiting to buy Titan, this possibly is a moment. Sakshi, what are you watching?
India VIX is something that's been rallying very sharply today, Shail. It's now 6.5% higher at 13.5 odd levels, and therefore we see an increased volatility in the markets. Consumer durables, PSU banks, the Nifty bank as a whole, private banks and financial services also within that pack, pharma, realty, metals, infra, they've all slipped into the red. It's just the FMCG, auto and the small cap Nifty Next 50 and IT space that remains in the green as of now. The volatility is extremely high, and if we look at the stocks that are contributing on the downside in trade today, again it's Titan. HDFC Bank is also contributing to the declines. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Bajaj Finance, Asian Paints, L&T. These are the top stocks that are dragging the Nifty lower in trade. But auto space now in top gear. Tata Motors, along with it, it's Hero Moto, M&M. These are the stocks that are buzzing. You also have Eicher Motors that's pulled up into the list. Vaishali, within the auto pack, what looks positive to you and where would you continue to keep your focus?
Well, I think as we spoke about Tata Motors, that is holding on well. So I
Hmm.
would say yes, I would maintain a positive bias on the same. And I'm looking at Maruti also. Since a very long time, it's consolidating at these levels. Really, nothing much happening, but let's wait and watch. This is the level to watch for because once we see the stock picking up momentum and about 12,300, I think they should be in the positive territory. So yes, these two stocks are to my liking right now.
Okay. The other space that's buzzing after beyond the auto space is FMCG now. The index is up 0.6%, which Vaishali also pointed out that these stocks should finally start to participate. Remember, Marico is something that we've been pointing out from the morning time as well. So about 4.5% higher. Dabur is up by 3%. You have Godrej Consumer, United Breweries, you have Varun Beverages, Tata Consumer Products. All of these stocks now buzzing in trade. Vaishali, should one stick with the frontline counters, the likes of HUL, ITC and Britannia maybe, or should one really go with these mid-cap names, Imami, Dabur, Tata Consumer, Godrej Consumer, these kind of stocks? How would you really look at this entire pack now?
I would say stock specific should be a better idea because even among the mid caps, as I mentioned, I do like Tata Consumer.
Hmm.
I mean, of course, HUL, ITC again. So frontline, these are the stocks that I would be looking at. But Imami and Tata Consumer are all doing well. So these are the stocks also that one should consider.
9:47, ladies and gentlemen, 13 minutes to wrap up trade. The profit booking on Nifty well, it's nothing to be worried about, down 38 points. The bank Nifty is down 216. As we had mentioned in our opening commentary, it's the 8th week of the rally on bank Nifty till Friday and the 5th week of the rally on the Nifty till Friday. Both these indices respectively have gained 11% over the last 8 weeks on bank Nifty and 8% on the Nifty. So time to digest those gains, but the broader markets are in fine shape. I'd like to mark Mahindra and Mahindra. This is something that we generally don't track, but one of the finest outperformers in the Nifty. Now setting up for something really good. Vaishali, sideways since 18th June, and it seems there is some momentum on the long side. What are M&M's charts telling you?
Well, in fact, yes, you're very right, and I overlooked this. But yes, Mahindra and Mahindra looks quite good. I mean, the trend is good. It's ready because you see the RSI also once again showing strength. So I think to 2600 acts as a support, and this can go towards 3100 from here.
Okay.
Fair point. As Sakshi had pointed out, the momentum is in the FMCG pack. Marico 5% higher, 649.17 futures. Dabur 3.21% higher, 624, and of course United Spirits 1274, 1.5% higher. These are strong balance sheets and fairly decent business updates coming in from the FMCG pack. Vaishali, would you have a favorite in the FMCG sector?
Well, right now I'm looking at Tata Consumer. That's to my liking right now. Have a look at the chart. I think it's ready for a good upside target of 1200 levels.
Okay, 1200 levels. Thereafter, we'll continue to keep an eye out on this FMCG maker. But Vaishali, you had pointed out Paytm. Let's keep an eye out on that one again. It's been buzzing, and how? I think it's up about now 4.5% odd. Let's pull up the charts of Paytm, and we'll see this fresh momentum. Now 456 on 197 communications. It's a 19 rupee uptick. Where is the stock headed now, Vaishali?
I would say, this can go towards 500 to 600 levels also. 600 should act as it's a 200-day moving average level, so that could act as a resistance from here on. But still, we see a good upside from here on then.
For internet-based stocks to Paytm, are you looking at stocks like even Nykaa, Zomato, maybe PB Fintech as well? All of these stocks are showing some kind of a buzzing move. Anything else also that looks promising to you?
So, well, Zomato has been on the radar since quite some time. I'm not
Yeah.
ready to buy right now, but well, to those who are holding, one should continue holding because, in all likelihood, this can go towards 225 to 230 levels. So, yes, Zomato is a stock to our liking. But I think, right now, as I'm seeing the chart, I like GMDC, the mining stocks. NMDC has not performed since quite some time. GMDC is picking up, technically very well placed, and it is showing some action. So I guess that is one stock which one can look at.
GMDC, of course, something that has been an erstwhile momentum boy, now coming up fairly strongly as far as prices are concerned. And there is a strong move on national fertilizers, 4% higher, 140. Remember, this is again the theme which is running across the markets, the setup on the fertilizer space, NFL, FACT, Madras Fertilizers, as also GFC and GNFC. All of them are momentum boys and are coming back in focus. Anything that catches your fancy here? Let me just point out the top gainers in the fertilizer space, Vaishali. NFL 4% higher, 139.80. This is low ticket, high beta. What are the charts telling you?
Well, it's showing a lot of strength. I think even on the weekly chart, if you see, there's still scope. It is not even overbought. I think this can do around 145, 150 to start with.
Okay. ITC, long time, Sakshi. Again, buzzing at 436. Remember, for all those, ladies and gentlemen, who wanted to have ITC in their portfolio, this is a price, or around the stock is at a price where the original promoter BAT sold some decent stake. 437, all-time high is 496. Vaishali, medium-term outlook on ITC?
Frankly, I would be a bit scared now in a market like this. So I would definitely go for these because these are all better stocks. There is hardly anything to worry about. And this is just picked up as we are talking about. This has been my recommendation since quite some time because 415 now acts as a good support. And I would say once we see the stock moving above 445, 450, it's ready for a strong up move going towards 480. So yes, I would be conservative and go for these stocks now.
So that's where Vaishali would keep an eye out on as well. Let's look at the broadest index to see if there are any fresh names that we can pull out. It's VIP clothing again, that's up 7% higher. Raymond is up 6.3% now. The entire textile space seems to be buzzing yet again. Vaishali, to you on the textile move that we've been seeing across for the last 15-20 days odd, where would you keep your focus? Would it be Raymond or would you also look beyond?
Well, I'm looking for some good stocks, and I think stocks like RSWM, these are the stocks in the cash category which have a good trend. So I would be focusing on that.
Okay, got that. Within the broader markets, you're also looking at Metro Brands, 14% higher now, a very strong move coming in. You also have PC Jewelers, that's almost 10% higher in trade right now. Landmark Property has been continuing its momentum from last week odd, 9.5% higher even in trade today. You have stocks like IFCI, That's up by about 7.5–8% up. Globe Textiles is up 7%. You also have stocks like Anant Raj that I pointed out, and Nova Agri-Tech. That's also up and about in trade. Anything that catches your attention within the names I pointed out, Vaishali?
Well, I've not been tracking these, but I'll
Yeah.
just have a look at landmark property. And I think that also has gone just one way. But seeing the
Yes.
chart, I think it's showing a lot of strength. So if those who have bought, they should continue holding.
Okay, got that. It's a limited focus trade, viewers. It's railways that have been buzzing. It's the power financiers that are buzzing. Some power space stocks, oil and gas, FMCG, auto. And within the small caps, again, it's the defense movers like, shipping stocks that are buzzing in trade. And some other stocks like, okay, a JBM Auto is now back in action within the auto space. Electra Green Tech is now performing about 4.2% higher. So let's get Vaishali to comment on those particular stocks. The EV focused stocks are again coming back into focus, Vaishali. Which stock looks promising for a second leg up?
So I would say yes, JBM Auto is a stock which is doing very well, and I think it will continue to do so because chartically also I feel it has a lot of upside potential. So this is one stock to our liking. The other one, what we continue to stay bullish on is Motherson Sumi. That is Samvardhan Motherson. It's holding on very well. So I would say, well, not a fresh buy, but continue holding and a good buying opportunity if one gets near 175, 180. I would be looking at this stock again.
9:57, ladies and gentlemen, just 3 minutes left for this session to call it a pause. In fact, the market is entirely defensive. The top gainer in FNO is Marico, 6% higher, and the open interest change is also 5.2%. Dabur is 4.2% higher, accompanying a 1.6% rise in open interest. Surprisingly, Hindustan Unilever, one of those laggards, is also up 1.7%. Ditto for ITC. Tata Consumer is something that Vaishali prefers, 1.5% higher. And we've already discussed BEL and REC. Godrej Consumer, 2% higher, with a nice bout of short covering, is buzzing at 1405. UBL, United Spirits, Colgate Palmolive. So it's the entire FMCG pack now in thick trade. This is when the entire market is now showing bout of mild profit booking. Nifty down 40 points, Bank Nifty down 215 points, Nifty IT 40 points lower, and the Nifty 500 has also slipped from its day's high. I just want to see what the Nifty Mid Cap Select is doing. Remember, it's the weekly expiry for this particular index, which is up 0.5% over the week, but over the last 8 weeks, when the rally continues, it's gained 10%. Nifty Mid Cap Select is 0.4% lower, 12,470. Absolutely nothing to be worried about. This is how the money flow is moving away from areas where it is supposed to book profit and getting into stocks that have underperformed relatively. That is why you see a rally coming into ITC. Now in futures, it's up 1.3%, 440. You see Hindustan Unilever buzzing, breaking 2600 for you, 1.75% higher, and fairly decent deals happening in terms of sizes. Sakshi, what's on your plate? Let's just wrap it up.
Fertilizer stocks are back in momentum. NFL, RCF, Madras Fertilizers, these are the stocks that are buzzing now, about 2.5%, 3% higher in trade. Even Fact is up and about in trade. Chambal Fertilizer, GSFC, These are stocks that are pulling up, so we'll continue to watch out for these stocks through the rest course of the day as well. But we'll wrap it up at that. Many thanks, Vaishali, for being with us on this very special edition on Morning Market Today Space on Business Today Television. Always a pleasure to host you with us and seek all those wonderful ideas that you share with all our viewers always. Viewers are 51 points lower on the Nifty, 24,270. We'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned. A lot of action will get unfolded because now onwards until the budget, there will be special conversations around the budget, what you can really expect, the key strategies that you can have. So stay focused on Business Today Television. We will be breaking down everything that you need to know right ahead of the union budget. Stay with us. We'll be back with a lot more shows during the course of the day.
This morning, as I got into the car after deplaning and opened the Times of India for a change in the physical form, the headline said that, it's 80K